This weather forecast is brought to you by Set TV Now Internet Television, 500 channels of TV. www.trytvfree.biz. Good Monday morning. My forecast is calling for partly to mostly sunny skies today around 40, but clouds will increase tonight. Chance of showers by morning, 35 to 40. Rain showers expected Tuesday, the high in the mid to upper 40s, mostly cloudy skies. More showers Tuesday night. Partly to mostly cloudy Wednesday, near 40 or so. Jonesboro's community radio station, we're KLEK 102.5 FM.
From Feature Story News in Paris, I'm Elena Casas. The sole surviving suspect in the November 2015 attacks in Paris is going on trial in Brussels. Salah Abdeslam is charged in Belgium with the attempted murder of a policeman. South African President Jacob Zuma says he won't be stepping down as pressure grows on him to relinquish the presidency. And North Korea has announced its ceremonial head of state will attend the opening ceremony of the Winter Olympics on Friday.
It's 9:01.
KLEK LP Jonesboro, the voice of Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council. It's now time for Community Conversations, a program focusing on the people working to make the Jonesboro community a better place, while offering viewpoints from all sides of the issues. The views expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of KLEK 102.5 FM, the voice of Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council, or our underwriters or sponsors.
KLEK 102.5 FM, good morning to you on your Monday. It's February 5th, 2018. This is Community Conversations. Cato Wonder is in the studio with you. I'm joined by Quabila Jones, and we are joined by our very special guest today, Mr. Kade Holliday. Kade is the Craighead County Clerk, and today we are going to just kind of talk about what to do in order to file for office, maybe kind of get some updates on how some of the candidates for office filings are going, and just the whole process. You know, during selection season, you know, we talk about voting and how important it is to vote and exercise your right to vote, but we never really had a discussion on what if you actually have a desire to serve, if you want to be an elected official, what are the steps and what are the qualifications. So that's going to kind of be the direction that we're going to start off today, and we'll just kind of see where the conversation leads us. Okay, I want to thank you for stopping by the studio today.
Hey, thanks for having me in.
All right, go ahead, Quabila.
Well, someone decides, I want to run for this office. What is the first step they need to take?
So the first step that you're going to need to take if you decide you want to run for office is get acquainted with when the filing period is.
Okay.
So the filing period to run for political offices in Arkansas runs from 12 o'clock noon on February the 22nd, which is a Thursday, until 12 o'clock noon on March the 1st, which is the following Thursday. So it's basically 1 week. After you decide that you want to, you definitely want to make sure you're acquainted with the office that you're running for. There's a lot of literature out there that will explain what all the different offices are. So they'll explain what the county judge does, what a state representative does, what a U.S. representative does, what any of the statewide elected officials do, what a constable does. So, and a lot of that material is available on the Association of Arkansas Counties website if you're interested in running for like a county office. And if you're interested in running for a state office, a lot of that's available on the Secretary of State's website. And a lot of this information you can find there as well. After you kind of go through the process of deciding, hey, I want to run for, let's just say, Justice of the Peace.
Okay.
Then the next decision you're going to have to kind of make is, do you want to run with a political party, so Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, Green Party, or are you wanting to run as an independent? Each one of those has different requirements.
Okay.
Each party is allowed to set the filing fees that are associated with filing for that office. So Justice of the Peace for the Democratic Party may have a certain dollar figure filing fee, and then for the Republican Party it may be a different dollar figure. They're not the same. Each party gets to kind of govern what they choose those filing fees to be. Or if you want to run as an independent, you go out and you get signatures. If you're interested in running as an independent, like let's just say you wanted to run as an independent for Justice of the Peace in District 1 here in Craighead County.
Okay.
you'd have to go out and get 61 verified signatures of individuals who are registered in JP District 1 that said that they want to give you the ability to be on the ballot to represent them as an independent candidate. So, if you're interested in doing something like that, you come by our office. We have packets made up for independent candidates that kind of explain this is the different number of signatures that you need for each one of these JP districts, or for the countywide if you decide to go that route. And we'll help you go through the process of understanding what's required. And some people always ask, well, where does that number come from? Where does the requirement come from? It actually is set out in the state law that it's based off of the previous governor's election, and it's 3% of the voters that voted in the last governor's election in that district.
Oh my God. Okay, so who keeps up with all these numbers?
So that's actually something that my office keeps up with, and we try to make it readily available for everyone.
Okay.
The specifics on running with the parties, really the parties kind of take care of all that. So anyone who calls our office at 870-933-4520, we kind of direct them to, this is the contact for the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, here's their numbers, here's who you need to talk to, and they can kind of give you the specifics, if there are any, of running with that party.
Okay. And so once someone has decided, okay, I'm running, I'm signing up, and they met all the requirements for that position in that whatever district or area they're serving in. Mm-hmm. Okay, so what's next? Do they start their campaigning?
That's where it kind of gets interesting. It's kind of up to them. You can start your campaign. You have to see whether or not you have a primary, or whether you have a general opponent, or you may not have any opponent. You may just win by default. You just never know. Traditionally, you would want to, go ahead and make an announcement that you're going to run for that, and then start your campaign up and start getting your message out, because the big thing I think a lot of people want to hear is, what do you stand for? What are your values? Why do you want to serve? And I think that a lot of people do a very good job of articulating that. So other than that, there are some different filings that are required throughout the process, like financial filings and disclosures and things like that. But we take care of making sure everybody gets guided through that. We provide all the forms. We do a very large-scale mail-out after the filing period is over with that has all the forms and all the dates that they're due, because we don't want anybody to get tripped up on paperwork.
Okay.
Now, you mentioned the financial forms and disclosures. Kind of let the listeners and the viewers know a little bit more about that, because some people may not even be aware of that's part of the process, that they have to file these disclosures.
Yeah, so you have to file a disclosure initially called a statement of financial interest, which basically says who you are, what you're running for, or what you're already elected to. It lists your sources of income, any sources of debt that you have, who are the purveyors of that debt per se. So what banking institution, or who is the guarantor on that loan.
So like if you got a mortgage or a car note or student loans, anything like
exactly. So like if you pulled my statement of financial interest, you would see that Craighead County is my source of income, and you would see that Wells Fargo is the source of my home loan that I have. So that's basically the entirety of my statement of financial interest. Yeah. But there's other specifics on that, like it will actually look at, do you do any business with the government? Do you do any business with the area that you're actually running for? Like, do you have any contracts with Craighead County? Do you have any contracts with the state of Arkansas? Are you involved with any businesses that have those specific contracts or meet those specific requirements? Have you accepted any gifts for anything that are valued over $100? Who did you receive those gifts from? Why did you receive those gifts? So there's a lot of stuff. So that's just the initial filing, and it sounds very daunting, but it's not so bad. It's just understanding and making sure you get all the right information in the right spots.
So based on the financial information, the findings, can that basically put somebody out of the running, depending on what's found or what's released?
Not necessarily. I don't think there's ever been anybody, but it's just in the common interest of the public to be able to know. If you have somebody who has a contract with a government entity and they're running to be on, let's say, the quorum court, and maybe the quorum court votes to do that. it's in the public's interest to know, hey, this individual is running and that they have business with the county and that they could potentially vote to expend money for that business in the future. Okay. So, there's definitely some benefits for it, so you could turn around and say, hey, maybe you should abstain from that vote.
Now, is there a requirement for any office for a candidate to release their tax returns?
Not necessarily. It has been, some common practice previously in presidential races and sometimes in federal races. We've never really seen that on the county level or the state level per se. I know that there's always some interest, especially like in the governor's race. I think it was last time whenever the governor's primary happened, or no, I'm sorry, I misspoke. Whenever the actual election happened, there was some discussion about a tax credit that was taken, and it was taken twice by a certain candidate, and that was kind of interesting. You may see something like that happen, but I don't think you're necessarily going to see tax returns requested. There's nothing in the law that says that the candidate has to release those, but traditionally most people are pretty open and honest about everything.
Okay.
But that's the big primary filing, and then there's a couple of subsidiary filings that have to happen. So what they're called campaign contributions and expenditures reports. So if you're running for office, you're required to keep the name, address, workplace of anyone who donates money to you over $50. And recently the Constitution was amended in 2014 during the election cycle when Amendment number 3 passed, which barred businesses from giving to individual candidates. So an individual candidate cannot take a check from, like, Walmart.
Okay.
So Walmart couldn't donate, or a family farm could not donate. An individual from those organizations could donate, but the business itself could not donate. So, like, let's just say you own a small business here in town and you want to give to a candidate. You couldn't write a business check to that candidate, but you personally could write a check to that candidate. Up to $2,700 in the primary, $2,700 in the general. So a grand total of $5,400.
Oh. And why is that?
The reasoning for that ballot amendment was initially to try to remove potentials for conflict with business and government entities.
Now, someone, you mentioned earlier about, someone maybe have a business. If they're in a particular business in the area in which they're running, would they be asked, or would it be suggested that they maybe either step down from whatever position they have in their own business if they choose to run for a position that may be considered a conflict of interest?
There could be. Traditionally, there's not.
Okay.
But it's just kind of in the interest of the public to make sure that people know that, hey, I have this interest here. And that's kind of what that statement of financial interest does.
Okay.
But those campaign contributions and expenditure forms, there's one that's required to be turned in after the primary and one that's required to be turned in after the general election, regardless of how much money you raise. There is a preemptive form that's due before the primary and before the general if you have raised or expended over $500, whether you are opposed or unopposed. Okay. So we're actually in the process right now in the office of getting all of that information ready to launch online so people will be able to go on and actually view that. The state already has that. If you go to the Secretary of State's website and click on the financial disclosures, where you can see all of your state reps, state senators, and statewide elected officials, as well as some of the different PACs and lobbying groups that have to file those that paperwork. But we're in the process of trying to get that same kind of a scenario here in Craighead County. But we do have all that information in the office, so if you're interested in seeing any of it, feel free to give us a call, and we'll be happy to hook you up.
Okay.
Once again, we're speaking with Craighead County Clerk Kade Holliday, talking about the process of filing for office, some of the things that are involved. So if there's anyone out there that is interested in running for office, hopefully you will take heed. And of course, if you didn't quite catch everything that Kade said, you can definitely give him a call or visit him at his office in the Craighead County Courthouse. One thing we would like to see, because we know there are some people out there that are very passionate about serving this community. People have very strong views, and I always say, be the change in which you seek, and this is one way in which you can do that. Put yourself out there, and run for office. Even if you don't win, you can at least get your views out there and articulate and work for change. And of course, if you have any questions or comments for Kade, you can give us a call at 870-277-1080. Once again, the phone number is 870-277-1080. You can also weigh in on our Facebook Live feed. Shout out to Dr. Sharice Jones Branch for checking in on our Facebook Live feed.
I wanted to give the website for those that may be listening. It's www.sos. I think it's .arkansas.
Yes, .arkansas.
.arkansas.gov. And once you're on the website, if you scroll down to elections, there's different links. It says register to vote, vote a view, financial disclosure, candidate information, initiatives and referrals, military and overseas citizens. But when I clicked on financial disclosure, it gives so much more information. There's other links to a lot of other things. So if you click on each link, there's much more information available.
There is a wealth of information on that website, from that to the different forms that are required to some of the different requirements to run for office. And then, it even goes further than that, like the actual specific forms are actually constructed by the Ethics Commission, and that's where you'll actually gather all that information to be able to file. And we try to articulate that to all the candidates here in Craighead County. That way they understand, because like I said, we don't want somebody to get in trouble over paperwork. Especially, we like to help people through it, explain how it works, explain where different things happen and why they happen, because it's a requirement. It's very good for the public's interest, but we also don't want it to be something that a candidate happens to forget. Because, when you get out campaigning, it's real easy to get sidetracked and maybe forget, oh my gosh, I need to turn in this magic form that's due, on this very arbitrary day that has no rhyme or reason, but it's set by state law.
And I had a quick question. Is there any requirement for filing for office that you don't have a criminal record?
The only requirement for the majority of the elected offices in the state is to be 18 years old and registered to vote. So as long as you're registered to vote, and I know that we've talked previously when I've been on here about the convicted felons and the restoration of voting rights and what the process is on all that. Anybody who has went through the process to actually get those things expunged and is registered to vote again is able to run for office. So there's only a few offices that have an age requirement, like U.S. House of Representatives, U.S. Senate, United States President, Governor, and County Judge.
Okay, and I know about President is 35, U.S. Senate is 30, House of Representative is 25. What about those others?
The Governor of the state, I'll have to look just to make sure, but I want to say it is either 30 or 35, and County Judge, I believe, is 25.
Okay.
Will that information be available on the Secretary of State?
It will be available on, it'll actually be the Association of Arkansas Counties website, which if you give me just a second, I can tell you what that is.
Well, while you're doing that, we have a Facebook shout out. Shout out to Lachey Robinson. Appreciate you for checking in on our Facebook Live feed.
Okay, so it's www.arcounties.org.
Yeah, and if you go to that arcounties.org, especially if you're interested in running for, like, let's say, Justice of the Peace, but you want to know everything that a Justice of the Peace does, you can go on there, and there's manuals that explain each one of the elected offices here in Craighead County. This will actually be the first time that we'll actually have some school boards that'll actually be running in the primary. The state legislature opted to change the school board elections out from their normal time in September to allow the schools to either decide whether they wanted to hold those elections concurrent with the primary or the general elections. So here in Craighead County, all but 2 school districts have opted to have it in May. The 2 that opted to have it in November are Nettleton and Greene County Tech, which Greene County Tech only catches a very small portion of the very northern part of Craighead County. But Nettleton is probably one of the schools that's more covered by Jonesboro proper that has a significant population.
It looks like there'll be some races to definitely watch out for. And, of course, on Community Conversations, we will extend an invitation to all of the candidates running for races that are within our coverage area. And so within the months to come, be on the lookout for interviews with each of those candidates.
Alrighty. So let's get into how much time do we have? Okay. Well, can you tell us now what positions have already been registered for that are in this upcoming election?
So nothing has been registered for yet.
Oh.
Everything takes place from February 22nd to March the 1st.
Okay.
What you've been seeing is, you've seen people like in media say, "Hey, I'm running," and but like Kade said, the official date is coming up later. But there have been some people who have publicly said, "Yes, I am running."
Yeah, and I think you're probably going to continue to see that, especially over the next probably 2 to 3 weeks before the actual announcement date comes, when the actual filing date comes. And then you'll have a lot of filings that'll take place, and we'll process that information, and you can give us a follow on Facebook if you'd like, and we always put that out, and then we'll be sharing that with all the media outlets as well. I have no doubt that y'all will take care of pushing that information out to the public as well, and I appreciate everything y'all do, especially bringing those individuals on to talk about their beliefs and values to definitely help the voters make an informed decision before the actual election.
And that's what we're all about, treating people fairly and giving each one an opportunity to do so. And in addition, something new that we are going to be on the lookout for, we are going to do a series of public service announcements on voting, your rights as a voter. It's called, and got a little neat hashtag, no vote, no voice, all votes matter. So be on the lookout for that. That will be coming soon. We are speaking with Craighead County Clerk Kade Holliday. We're getting ready to go to break in a few minutes, so just want to do a quick reminder. Don't forget, Wednesday with Brother Cobb's All Gospel Wednesday, we're doing the $30 gas card giveaway that's sponsored by Mrs. Polly's Motivational Barbecue, CAB, and the Lambda Eta chapter of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. All you gotta do is tune in Wednesday. Listen to Brother Cobbs when he calls for the 10th caller at 870-277-1080. You can win that $30 gift card. It's good at any come and go. All right, we're gonna take a break. We'll be back with more with Kade Holliday. This is Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM.
You're listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. We'll be right back.
Are you ready to stop, drop, and roll this summer? I'm Mark Merrill with today's Family Minute. We only have so many summers to make memories with our kids before they leave the nest. So with school out, give your kids your best. First, stop being connected 24/7 to work. Give yourself permission to be disconnected from work so you can be reconnected with your kids. Second, drop the phones, tablets, and other tech that keep you from your family. Set daily times, especially when you're on vacation, when you'll be tech-free. Finally, roll with the punches. Our summer plans rarely go off without a hitch, so be flexible and be available for your kids. For more tips, visit my blog at markmerrill.com. Remember, your family first.
Family Minute is made possible by the Kappa Nu Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, a non-profit organization committed to service to all mankind. Kappa Nu Omega Alpha Kappa Alpha on Facebook and KNOMEGA1908.com.
The key to making this station even better could be parked in your driveway right now. Donate your old car to us, you'll get a tax deduction, and we'll tow it away for free.
Go to klekfm.org for more information.
The Epic Center, located at 1899 Hasbrook Road, County Road 333, is Jonesboro's newest venue for entertainment for the entire family. They offer an auditorium with theater-style seating for up to 1,100 guests, a large stage, professional lighting and sound, dressing rooms, concessions, and more. Available for weddings, concerts, pageants, birthday parties, showers, and more. Booking and other information is available at Epic Center Jonesboro on Facebook, epiccenterjonesboro.com, and at 870-530-5841.
Support for KLEK is brought to you by
Fullness of Joy Ministries, 2120 Thorn Street, Jonesboro, under the direction of Bishop Adrian Rogers and co-pastor Susan Rogers. www.fjministries.org.
And now back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM.
And we're back on Community Conversations on KLEK with our guest, Kade Holliday, the Craighead County Clerk. We are talking about running for office, all of the things that are involved with running for office. And we're going to probably talk about that a little bit more, then kind of get into some more things about voter registration, because that is very important. Going to be saying this all the way through November. No vote, no voice. All votes matter, and a voteless people is a hopeless people.
Alrighty, so by March, give us the date again that we should be on the lookout for when, I guess, things are finalized and we'll know exactly who's running for what office.
So February the 22nd, which is a Thursday at 12 o'clock noon, is going to be the very first time that people are able to come in and file that they're running for office. And it runs for 1 week, so it'll end on March the 1st at noon.
Okay.
And that'll kind of give us a really good idea of who all is running at the state level and the local level for your countywide offices. So the offices that are up for election this time are all 7 statewide offices. So governor, lieutenant governor, auditor of state, treasurer, land commissioner, and attorney general.
Okay.
So all 7 of them are up. All 100 House seats are up. So there's 100 House members. And then I believe that there's 11 or 12 senators that are up. Don't hold me to that.
Okay.
So I can't. I know that we have one senator who touches the very northern part of Craighead County that's up, and that's Blake Johnson.
Okay.
So the 2 senators who cover the majority of the land mass of Craighead County, which would be John Cooper and Dave Wallace, are not up. They run with the presidential years. So the Senate side runs every 4. The House side runs every 2.
Okay.
So county-wise, you have all the county seats are up. So all of the county judge, county clerk, circuit clerk, assessor, tax collector, sheriff, everyone who's a countywide is up. All 13 justice of the peace districts are up for re-election. All 13 constable districts are up for re-election. Okay. So, if you're interested to see, hey, I'm interested in maybe looking at running for quorum court. I want to be a justice of the peace. Then, you can give us a call, 870-933-4520, and we can look up to make sure that you are in the district that you think you're in. Sometimes people get confused on that, but that's okay. And we can make sure you're in the right district, that your voter registration is up to date, and, give you the requirements and give you the contact info. So let's say, maybe you want to run as a Democrat, then you're going to call Benton Smith, who's the head of the Democratic Party here in Craighead County, or I really want to run as an independent. We'll come down to the office. We'll get you a packet so you know what's going on, and a map of the district so you know the exact boundaries. Or I want to run as a Republican, and then you'd call the Republican Party chair of Craighead County, which is Scott Wilhott.
Okay.
So, we want to get that information out to everybody. And then, a lot of people ask, well, what about municipal races? Well, municipal races don't file till July.
Okay. Now, what are municipal?
That's the city races.
Yeah, so all the cities. So, you'll have, this time in Jonesboro, it'll be city attorney, and I want to say city collector, I believe, are the ones that are up. And then there'll be 6, 1 in each ward of the city council members are up. And then all of the mayors in the outlying cities are up for re-election, and most of their city councils are as well, because most of them run on 2-year terms. Except for the mayors. So the mayor of Jonesboro runs with the president, and then all the other municipalities' mayors run with the governor.
Okay.
I wanted to go back to something you said earlier about the filing process. You mentioned that if you run as a Democrat or Republican or other political party, how you just get the packet and pay the fees associated. But with the independent, you actually have to go out and get signatures. Why is it that you have to get signatures as an independent but not running under a political party?
Sure. So if you're running as an independent, you can go out and get the signatures as opposed to paying a filing fee. So the signatures basically take the place of your filing fee. So Like, let's say, I'm just going to throw out an arbitrary number.
Okay.
Let's say the filing fee to run for county judge as a Democrat is $1,500. Okay. And to run as a Republican, it's $1,000. So if you didn't want to do either of those, and you didn't necessarily ideologically believe as one party or the other, then you might decide, I want to run as an independent. And rather than paying that filing fee of different dollar amounts, you could go out and get 759 signatures.
Has there ever been any, I'm sure, has there ever been any backlash or, someone saying that's not fair, why do we have to pay it?
There's arguments for it one way or the other. Some people think that the signature requirement might be too high for individuals to go out and do, or some people might think the filing fee is too much, but each county is different. So the filing fee here can be completely different from the filing fee in Poinsett County or Pulaski County or any of those different counties. So each county party is responsible for setting the filing fees in that specific county. And then the state party for both sides sets the filing fee for all the statewide races, the federal races, and any of the state reps and state senators.
Okay. All right, so now let's get into voting. I know this has always been an issue. Well, not always been an issue, but there's always been a lot of talk around voting. Who can vote? Who's qualified? Registering to vote, and just a whole lot of identification thing. Like, there's been a lot of different moving parts to this. So let's get into all things voting.
I think we have enough time. I'll do a quick overview of that, okay. And then that might be a whole other show.
Well, we plan on bringing you back for that, but we do have 13 minutes in this segment and a whole nother segment. So
I'll give you a good quick overview, which will probably take about all that 13 minutes.
Okay.
So the state legislation. All right, let's just go from the top. Registering to vote. If you're over 18, you don't have a felony or anything like that, then you can come in and register to vote. You'll just need to bring, some kind of proof of ID. So like a bill, a photo ID from, the DMV or a state institution, something along those lines. That way we can go ahead and take care of that requirement for registering to vote. Normally, as soon as you register, it's effective immediately. Okay. Sometimes we always send out voter cards. Traditionally, we always send them out on Friday. So we always tell people, if you come in on Monday and you file that you're registering to vote, it could be up to, 7-8 business days before you get your card. Because normally we process those on Friday. As we get closer to the election and we're doing a lot more registrations, we'll start doing them every day versus every Friday. Right now we're processing probably, I'd say 150-ish a week. And as we get closer to the election, that number will probably go up to more like 150-ish a day. So, if you have never been registered to vote, you have to register at least 30 days prior to the election. Okay. So you can get the form offline or online, like the Secretary of State's website. There's also a couple of other different websites that have that available, and then you can mail that in. My suggestion is, especially as you get closer to that deadline, just come by the office. Because doing it in person, I know for a fact that I can put my hands on that application, if that makes sense. And especially because you definitely want to make sure you have all the boxes filled out. Fill out every box on the application. Because it's easy. Sometimes people will forget to put something that is required on there, and then we have to wait and send it back to you and say, okay, you forgot to do this box. Please fill this box out so we can get everything processed. So it's a lot easier to just come in the office, stop by, and see us. After you're registered to vote, then this year the state legislature during the previous legislative session passed a new law, which is the verification of voter identification.
Okay.
And basically what the verification of voter identification requires is that you have to show a photo ID to vote. So a driver's license, a photo ID from a accredited post-secondary institution, something from there's a whole list of things that are acceptable. If you choose not to, you will still be allowed to vote, and you will vote provisional. and there's a statement that you will sign that says, I am who I say I am. Okay. And then it will be on the Election Commission to determine the validity of that. So, we are able to, anybody who does not have a photo ID, my office is able to make you a voter ID. So you can come in and we can take a picture and you'll get a card that's legitimate to take to the polls to take, and it's only good for voting, and you have to sign an affidavit that says I don't have a driver's license or any kind of photo ID or anything like that. But we're able to do that, and I know that we already have a couple of associations here in Craighead County that are already planning to kind of help individuals with getting rides to the office to make sure that they have that so that they don't have to go through this other process. So it is something new. It's for lack of better words, a whole new frontier that we're trying to navigate and make sure that we can do, and we'll have a lot more information to put out on that here shortly.
Okay, I've gotten an anonymous text, a person doesn't want to be identified on air, but basically this person has concerns about the process for if you are a felon. This person says that they've gotten different responses on felony voting. One person says if you're done with probation and paid your fees, you can vote, and some person said, well, no, that's not true. So can you just clarify the procedure for voting if you are a felon once you get all of your stuff taken care of?
Sure. So if you are a felon and you have fulfilled your sentence, you have paid all of your fines, all of your requirements of civic duty are taken care of, then there is a process that you can go through to have all that, I guess for lack of a better word, sealed or something along those lines. And there's some paperwork that's required. We have that paperwork in the office. If you want to come by, we're actually in the process of getting it all put online and a pamphlet out that actually says, these are the steps. Okay. You need to do X, Y, Z. And as soon as we have that, I'll be happy. I'm going to put it on Facebook. I'll send it to y'all as well. So, because
we definitely will share that because we definitely want that to be put out there. And while we're mentioning it, you can also clarify this. Is it true that, like for people who have misdemeanor crimes that may be currently in the county jail, can they have a ballot sent to them where they can vote while they're locked up inside the county jail? Because I've seen some different things on that myself.
I'll say this. I'll have to look into it further, and I'll be happy to get you an answer because we've never had a ballot requested from the county jail. So that's not something that I'm acquainted with 100%. We've never had that request, but I will absolutely find out and let you know.
Because technically, if they have a misdemeanor, they still are eligible, right?
Correct. It's felonies that traditionally are the ones that remove your voter rights.
Okay.
So,
but definitely please find that out.
Yeah, I will find that out. We've never actually had that request come in. So let me make sure, because I don't want to give an incorrect answer, especially because we definitely want to make sure that the right information is out there. So let me find out 100% for sure, and I will get back with you on that. But we are in the process of getting just a simple pamphlet together that explains everything, because there is a lot of miscommunications on these different felony restoration of rights, and we definitely want to make sure people understand what the process is so that they can take it, because most all these people who have, they've taken care of everything that they need to take care of, they deserve to have those rights back, and we want to make sure that everybody understands this is the process. You have to do X, Y, Z, and then you're good to go.
Okay, so I'm looking at USA.gov /register to vote, and so it's giving a lot of information about register to vote and confirm or change registration. So it's giving information on how to register in person, overseas military voters, register to vote in other languages, who can and cannot vote, and then it goes into who may have problems voting due to state or local requirements. So I would love to encourage everyone to read some information on this so that you would not be faced with anything when it comes time to vote. Like there's one thing on here that says people whose name or address on their ID doesn't match the name or address on their voter registration that is very important that you update your information as soon as possible so that you're not faced with, well, we apologize, but your information doesn't match, so you can't vote. So I know some people who move, it seems like once a month, you know. So please update your voter registration information if you want to be eligible to vote in this upcoming election.
Absolutely. And you know, if you have any questions on your voter registration, give us a call, 870-933-4520, and just ask to speak with the elections department, and we'll take care of making sure that everything's up to date, everything's good to go. Or if you want to do it online, you can go to the Secretary of State's website and use their option called Voter View, where you put in your name and your birthday, and it'll pull up your actual registration so you can see and just double check to make sure everything's right. And if for some reason something's wrong, you can give us a call and say, hey, you know, I moved this past year, I forgot to call up there and get that changed, could you take care of that for me? And we can get that taken care of.
Okay. And then like also another one, people who may have problems, people who go to vote on election day at a polling place that is not their assigned polling location. So can you explain why that's important to go to your location?
Sure. So you will have a designated voting location, and that's where you can actually get your specific ballot. I always encourage people to come and early vote, just because at early vote we have every ballot. You're able to come through, get in and get out real fast.
5 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, I'd be honest with you, I don't even know what my polling place is because I always do early voting.
And early voting, you know, it's normally, we have definitely seen in the past 2 election cycles, as we've, you know, y'all have assisted greatly with getting the word out on early voting, and we've seen such an uptick in early voting that early voting is starting to count for such a larger percentage of the overall vote. There are still a lot of people who vote on election day, don't get me wrong, but like you mentioned there, Quabila, if you don't go to your specific poll, they're not going to have your specific ballot. Okay. So traditionally, if somebody goes to the incorrect poll, the poll worker who tries to check them in and notices that they're not will refer them to an individual who's called the poll sheriff. Okay. And the poll sheriff will give us a call and say, hey, you know, I have this individual here. Could you check on them for me? And we'll pull them up and make sure, you know, okay, do we have the right address? Do we have all the right information for them? And if so, we'll tell them where the right poll is for them to go. Okay. So that way they can go to the right poll and get taken care of. Okay. You know, sometimes people will go to the wrong poll from what we have, but it's the right poll to them because they've moved. They just forgot to update their voter registration. And in that situation, we normally will process that change because you can change your address all the way up to and including on election day. It's just if you are registered, like let's say in Pulaski County, and you need to move your registration to Craighead County, it has to be done 4 days before the election happens. Okay. Or if you're not registered to vote, it has to be 30 days before the election happens. Lots of dates, lots of different things, so we just try to keep everything straight and keep everything on the ready to go.
And I also want to just throw this out there for parents with children in college. If you want your child to vote in where they're from, I mean, you need to make sure that they're registered and find a way to get them their ballot. I don't know how they would handle that.
Well, I'll tell you, the thing is you can actually go ahead now, like if you know you're not going to be able to vote, like let's say you're homebound or you have trouble getting around or something like that, you can already go ahead, you can call our office and request an absentee ballot for every election this year. And you can go ahead and get that paperwork in so you're ready to go, so you don't even have to think about it. Anyone who has done that previously has to submit a new application every year. That is one of the requirements of the law. So if they want to, like let's say, you can be as specific on that as saying, well, I only want the general election because I don't want to vote in the primary. Well, we can get it processed and already on the books so you don't have to think about it, and your ballot will be one of the first ones to go out when we start processing absentees. Or you can choose every election that year. That way, you know, let's say that there's a special sales tax election in the city of Jonesboro that just kind of comes up out of nowhere and happens, let's just say, in August. So you might not think, oh, well, I really need to request the ballot for that. Well, if you have that already marked that you're going to get every election that year, then it's going to come to your mailbox as soon as we start processing. Normally we start processing anywhere from it's a few weeks before the actual election happens. That way there's adequate time for that ballot to come back.
Okay.
We're speaking with Craighead County Clerk Kade Holliday. We actually got some Facebook comments. I don't know why they didn't show up earlier, but we will read those comments and we'll have Kade respond to them when we come back on the other side of the break. This is Community Conversations. Don't forget, Wednesday, All Gospel Wednesday with Brother Cobbs. We're going to do the $30 gas card giveaway. The gas card will be good at any come and go, and all you got to do to win is just when Brother Cobbs says 10th caller at 870-277-1080. Call in and say your life, your music, KLEK, and you will win the gas card. Don't go anywhere. This is KLEK on 2.5 FM.
You're listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. We'll be right back.
We're back with Money Matters. I'm Alfred Edmond Jr. Our Think Wealthy quote of the week comes from RLJ Company's chairman and CEO and America's first black billionaire, Robert L. Johnson.
The real thing when you talk about wealth creation is two ways you do it. One is you do savings and investments. Most African Americans don't save, and therefore if you don't save, obviously you can't invest. So what I'm trying to do is to do a couple things. One, I'm trying to say go to the huge pension funds, corporate and public, that hold a huge amount of this nation's wealth. And a big portion of that wealth comes out of the pockets of African Americans who pay to the pension fund. But unfortunately, very little of that money is managed by African Americans, because the rap on African Americans is, you guys don't know how to manage money. You guys don't know how to create wealth.
To build real wealth, we must save and invest. I'm Alfred Edmond Jr. for Money Matters, a product of American Urban Radio Networks.
Money Matters is made possible by the Jonesboro Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, a nonprofit organization dedicated to uncompromising commitment to communities, service, leadership, empowerment. www.jonesboroalumnidst.org.
Money Matters is brought to you by Bancorp South, offering checking, savings, loans, credit cards, and wealth management. 5 locations in Jonesboro to serve you. www.bancorpsouth.com or 870-972-9800.
KLEK 102.5 FM is giving away free gas in February. That's right, KLEK has teamed up with Mrs. Polly's Motivational Barbecue CAB, 2098 South Caraway Road in Jonesboro in the Teletech parking lot, and the Lambda Eta chapter of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated to give you free gas. All you gotta do is tune in to All Gospel Wednesday with Brother Cobbs every Wednesday in February from 11 o'clock a.m. to 6 o'clock p.m. When Brother Cobbs asks for the 10th caller, all you gotta do is call in and say, your life, your music, KLEK. Call in to 870-277-1080. Again, that's 870-277-1080. And you will win a $30 gift card good at any come-and-go gas station. KLEK, giving away free gas every Wednesday for All Gospel Wednesday in February. And remember, your life, your music, KLEK. KLEK, Mrs. Polly's, and Phi Beta Sigma, we do it for you.
Hello, I'm Officer Victoria Evans. I have always had a desire to help others in need and to be an example and role model to young women by encouraging them to never give up on their dreams. My dream was to become a police officer and to serve my community. In 2016, that dream became a reality, and it is the most rewarding experience of my life. Now I want to let you know about the same opportunity. The Jonesboro Police Department will conduct testing every month for patrol officers. Applications are available online at jonesboropolice.com or at the Police Department, 1001 South Caraway Road. The Jonesboro Police Department offers a competitive salary, health, and retirement benefits, top-of-the-line training, and most importantly, the chance to make a difference in the Jonesboro community. Join me in making Jonesboro a better place. The Jonesboro Police Department is an equal opportunity employer, and women and minorities are especially encouraged to apply. More information is available at 870-935-5657.
And now back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM.
And we're back on Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM with our guest, Craighead County Clerk Kade Holliday. And we had some Facebook shouts. I don't know why I didn't see them earlier, so I apologize for those who posted them, and I don't want you to think we were ignoring your comments. First one, I believe this is from Dr. Branch, because it's posted under KLEK, but or it may have been from Kubila, but it says, how are the filing fees determined? And Lachey Robinson says, has it mentioned anything about felony voting? Where can I find out more information on this to inform the public? And she also followed by saying, yay. And can't they file an absentee ballot in jail if it's a misdemeanor?
So I know that I'm going to get the information on the misdemeanor in jail probably sometime later today, and I will make sure and get that information to you. The felony voting, we're in the process of getting that pamphlet together to push out to the public. That way everybody knows exactly what their requirements are and the paperwork that's required and everything along those lines. And the filing fees are... each party has different requirements for determining the filing fees. Okay. I know that I want to say it's in Saline County. They charge 5% of the annual salary for that position. So, everything is so different, and there's not any true metric to measure that on. Okay. So it's just kind of up to the actual the parties in each one of those counties. Now, the state party, they traditionally keep the prices pretty much the same all the time. And you can contact the state party to find out exactly what their filing fees are for all those state offices. And then you can contact the local party chairs for so like here in Craighead County, you can contact, Scott Wilhite on the Republican side, or Benton Smith on the Democratic side, and get the information from those individuals. And if you give us a call at the office, 933-4520, we'll get you their numbers so that you can contact them. Traditionally, they always put it in the newspaper a few times, and I think they normally put it online, but I haven't seen... I've seen that information for the Republican Party, but I have not seen that information for the Democratic Party as of yet.
Do you all have websites that people can go to? I know most people kind of go to Facebook for everything. So, yeah. One, do you have a Facebook? And then two, do you have a website?
Sure, I have a Facebook. You can go and follow Kade Holliday, Craighead County Clerk, and kind of see, we try to put out as much information to the public as possible on all that. And then we also have the Craighead County website, craigheadcounty.org. And I believe that some of those filing fees, after they file their official papers with the office, will actually be posted on that website as well. And I actually want to say that the state parties, so arcdems.com, I believe, is the Democratic Party, and then argop.com, which is, I believe, the Republican Party, which if it's not, you can just give it a quick Google and it'll take you where you need to go. I want to say that they actually will probably have the filing fees for the local parties on those websites as well.
Okay. All right, so the information is out there. People, you need to just do a little hunting, for it. But definitely go to sos.arkansas.gov.
Yes.
Which is the Secretary of State's website. And then also the Arkansas...
arcounties.org.
arcounties.org to learn more specific information about the counties in Arkansas. There was a link that I saw... a tab rather. If you clicked on the little pull down menu, counties, and then you can look up specific county.
Yeah, and you can see county. Yeah, you can see the people you need to contact in each county, because I'm more than happy if you live in another county to get you directed to the people you need to talk to, but I can't necessarily speak 100% on what the differences will be in Poinsett County as they are in Craighead County, especially when it comes to filing fees and things like that. The only thing that's 100% set in stone is the filing date.
Okay.
And then the same time, or in the dates that all those different statement of financial interest and financial forms are due.
All right, we're going to kind of switch gears to Election Day itself, and something that some people are potentially concerned about, the security of the voting machines themselves. Of course, there's some people who are concerned that the voting machines could potentially be hacked. What has steps have your office taken to ensure that the integrity of the voting machines isn't compromised?
So, I can tell you what we will disclose on that, because there's a lot of steps that we don't want to disclose because we don't want anybody to try to come up with a way
we're not
to...
saying give away the secrets,
Yeah.
but we want to know that you all are doing something to ensure that.
So those machines are kept under lock and key all the time. There's different layers of security that the Election Commission, as well as my office, has put in place. There is actually a vote tabulation that shows exactly how many votes are on each machine, that is triple checked at the beginning of each day and at the end of each night to make sure that the number of votes that was on that machine at the end of the day matches the number of votes that was on that machine in the morning, so that no one does anything. Those machines are kept under lock and key. They're sealed up. There's a lot of other layers of protection that's there. There's even layers of protection that we aren't even privy to that are on the state level, where whenever we actually upload results to the state level, the state may flag something as being questionable. So there's a lot of redundant security built into these machines. I feel confident in the integrity of the elections here in Craighead County and as well as in Arkansas, because I believe that the state has definitely taken the proper steps to make sure that the election's integrity is kept intact and that honesty is key. I can't speak to other states because I don't know their requirements.
Well, one thing I can say about the machines is when I voted, when I click whatever candidate I'm voting for, the little paper trail recorded. And
yeah, and that was a requirement that came up from the state that I definitely think is very, very nice. And, there's calibrations that happen on those machines traditionally twice a day just to make sure, because, after it's been punched and punched and punched and punched and punched, sometimes it can get a little off-center to an extent, but that's normally why we go through and we recalibrate, and we always tell people, make sure you follow the tape on the side too, as well as make sure whenever you get to those last screens and it has you review your votes, make sure everything's right.
Okay.
Alrighty. Getting ready to get to the end of the show. Got about 3 minutes left. So anything that we did not cover that you want to talk about filing for voting, registering the voting process, any information that you want to get out there to the listeners and the viewers?
Yeah, just make sure, if you have any questions, reach out to me on Facebook, Craighead County Clerk Kade Holliday. I'm happy to answer them. Or Twitter, if you like that, K.Holliday. Or, I even have people who send me questions on Snapchat. So you just never know. You never know where it's going to happen.
Snap. I may need to.
Yeah, and Stock Holiday 1988 on Snapchat. So, you can reach out to me. I'm here to serve the public. That's my thing. I want to make sure everybody has all this information because an open and an honest government is a safe government.
Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat.
Whatever way you want to. And, you can call at the office, 933-4520, email, whatever. I'm happy to answer any questions. And, if I can't find or if I don't know the answer right off the top of my head, I promise you I'll find out, and I'll figure it out to make sure that you know, as well as it even helps me sometimes, because there's times that I get informed on stuff that it's like, oh, well, I didn't know that. Kind of like this misdemeanor in jail thing that we're going to figure out because we've never had that come up in Craighead County, but it very well could. So we're going to get answers on that, and really appreciate that question because that one's the one that I'm going to have to go do a little research on.
Okay. Well, we thank you so much for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you back again once we get the final list of who's all registered and who's running for what office, and then start breaking it down.
Absolutely. It's going to be an exciting election season.
Yes.
And, of course, no matter where you fall on the ideological spectrum, I can't say this enough, please educate yourselves on the voting process. Learn about each of the candidates. Of course, we are going to invite each and every one of them to come on so you can hear from them directly, ask them questions. Go on their Facebook pages, go on their websites, read their positions, contact them, message them, and see what they stand for. And if it aligns with you, then go out and make your voice known. I can't say this enough. No vote, no voice. All votes matter. And as my fraternity says, Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, a voteless people is a hopeless people, and we definitely don't want to be a hopeless people. Once again, I want to thank Kade for stopping by the studio. Thank you to each and every one of you that tuned in on our Facebook live feed. Once again, don't forget, Wednesday with Brother Cobbs, All Gospel Wednesday, your chance to win a $30 Come and Go gift card. When Brother Cobbs says, call me up, 870-277-1080. Be the 10th caller. Say KLEK, your life, your music, and you will win the gift card. I'm going to do that all throughout the month of February. But you guys have a great and blessed day. This is KLEK 102.5 FM.
Thank you for listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM, a program focusing on the people working to make the Jonesboro community a better place while offering viewpoints from all sides of the issues. The views expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of KLEK 102.5 FM, the voice of Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council, or our underwriters or sponsors.